pregnant, we introduced a theme around her pregnancy, which we now learn in this film that is actually the theme of her daughter, Renesmee, and Edward, Rob Pattinson, plays this piece of music on the piano for Renesmee, and then she starts to play it with him, and they do this four-hand rendition of this piece.
You can't see it, but the sheet music on the piano says Renesmee's theme by Carter Burwell. So in theory, Edward had sent away to Carter Burwell to write a theme for Renesmee. He hadn't written this one himself.
Rob had to learn to play it for us to be able to shoot that scene.
Yeah, I haven't played piano in years, but it's fun. I had this cool little girl to play with who's playing Renesmee's body double. It's always a nice little thing when you're teaching an instrument to a little kid.
We are here filming the internal scenes of the castle, Voltaire. We made some improvements to the place since the second film.
In the other movies, the exterior of the Volturi castle in Italy, it's a medieval building, and then suddenly once they went in the door and kind of crossed over 7 centuries and ended up in a very different atmosphere. And we decided to do one very big change, actually create a medieval space.
So a lot of open brickwork. We went for more of the wood furniture rather than sort of, the marble in which you would have seen in the second film.
So it was a real sort of tricky thing because we're suddenly changing the entire dynamic of how the Volturi live in Breaking Dawn versus how it was described and shown in the previous movie.
Allow me, my dear.
That was actually one of those amazing days where it's just like movie magic. Cause they built this beautiful castle and it was all, smoky and, I think it's kind of one of those ultimate playing pretend experiences that when you become an actor, they come along once in a while.
Oh my. Renesmee seems to all other vampires to be an immortal child, which is verboten to the Volturi. And so the major threat of Breaking Dawn 2 is the Volturi hear that she's an immortal child, and that's a no-no, and they are gathering forces to come attack the Cullens and sort of rid themselves of the Cullen clan once and for all.
Alice has a vision of the Volturi coming to attack her family, and she realizes that if she even thinks anything or says anything, Edward's going to be able to read her mind, and to be able to keep her family safe, she has to leave them with only a note. Volturi, they're coming for us. When Alice has a vision, basically it comes down to really having to prepare and look at every angle of every scene, of every character, because the question often comes up, why didn't Alice see this? Or why did she see this? And I have to figure out why or why not. And then I have to live out what she's supposed to be seeing in my head at the time to make it real.
The immortal children were very beautiful. So check.
This is day 26. This is a monumental day. This is a sequence taking place in the 12th century, which I believe is the earliest any sequence has ever taken place in this entire series.
That was a treat. I mean, and there are a few opportunities like that to sort of get out of the world of forks and being something that is set in the 12th century or something like that, and to have Aro and his crew and all that period drag was great. And then to get to, throw a baby into a fire.
No!
And then it started raining. And raining. And once the rain stopped, it was just a mud pit.
The mud and the rain absorbed into the cloaks and the dresses and the sleeves.
We all have these 12th century cloaks on that were 40 pounds to start with and 60 pounds with the mud on them, and then everyone's slipping and sliding around trying not to get everything muddy. It was definitely fun.
There's something so, it's kind of creepy, but it's kind of fun about all of these ideas.
There's no reason that you were made an immortal child.
Yes. And should be in the press.
It was also great because it was the first scene that I got to work with Dakota Fanning. She did it so beautifully and, brought a little wit to it.
I think that's what I love about Jane is that, she's supposed to look kind of innocent and childlike, but she's actually extremely dangerous, and that's what I love about getting to play her.
Well, Renesmee is nothing like those children.
Alice's instructions were clear, but the question remained.
Rolling sound? Good. It's the first day in Canada. We're here in Pemberton. It's freezing cold, but we're excited to be here.
We get to see the Denali's house, which is where they live, which I'm really excited about, and to see where they come from.
We needed to find this house that was built, in a glacier and have it accessible to a shooting crew, which is like almost impossible, and it proved to be tough.
The Denali house we found in Pemberton, which is 4 hours north of Vancouver, and 30 degrees colder, but I liked its setting. The fact that you could see mountains everywhere.
It was the most amazing sort of piece of landscape, because it was like mountains, and then like a valley, and then in the middle of the valley, this sort of plateau sort of came up, and on that plateau was this house. And interestingly enough, also the Denali house kind of, in its own way, kind of reflected the Cullen house. It was sort of the same idea.
I like the idea that these people who are trying to follow the same ideals also kind of lived in a glass house.
Here we're playing the scene out where Bill and Edward and Jacob bring Renesmee to meet the Denali clan. And believe it or not, even though we're in snow country, we brought in 68 trucks filled with snow to make it look like a Alaskan home that has been obviously under the conditions of snowfall for quite an extensive period of time.
Well, the Denalis are approached in order to vouch for Renesmee not being a vampire child. And of course, when the Denalis are first approached, they believe that she is an immortal child.
It's a crime!
And are terrified and shocked, but then have to consent that they can hear a heartbeat.
Stay back!
And that this amazing little creature in front of them is in fact very, very special.
It was about the coldest place I'd ever been, which was fine for me, but Miana and Casey were thrown into the snow, and again, those things where you, oh God, we have to get one shot of you, Miana, after you've been out here for 8 hours. Yeah, cool, I'll do it. Just right into it. It was incredible to watch those actors, like, just, they're such amazing troopers.
Don't be afraid. There's the unknown. The Egyptian Coven's kind of cool little group. They've got a vampire named Benjamin who is a complete anomaly in the vampire world.
He has the power to control all the elements.
Moon has been hiding him because he knows that if Ara finds out about Benjamin, he'll kill him and take Benjamin too.
Here we get to see what Benjamin's capable of as he lifts the water pool into the air and does some pretty amazing feats with it.
Sort of turning it into a mass that actually plays an important story point. He's filling the doorway, making it impossible for them to go.
He likes to keep me hidden when I lift the water. You have to use your imagination as to what that's going to look like. They tell you, this pool's going to be rising and it's going to create this amazing image, but that's just your imagination, and then you have to have a certain idea about what physically you're going to do, with your hands to manipulate the water. Pretty unique things get to happen under his control during the film, and I'm really happy that I got stuck with those talents.
Cut!